Welcome to the Rich and Happy podcast. I couldn't be more excited for this first video episode. If you're new to my world, I'm Jeanine. Welcome. I saw so many people have joined in the last weeks the Rich and Happy podcast. And this is my first video episode, and I want to tell you why and a little bit about why it looks the way it looks. I'm currently in Berlin visiting my parents, and I'm in their basement, and I just thought, hey, I want to record my podcast episodes. This is what I do every single Monday. And what happened was, before every episode, I always connect to God, the universe, however you want to say it, and I always ask, based from A Course in Miracles, what would you have me do? What would you have me say? And I really received this impulse. It is time to record the podcast as a video podcast. And I thought, only have my little small vlogging camera. I have no lighting. My hair is not done. My makeup's not done. Like, my mind immediately rushed to a gazillion things why right now this is not the perfect setting. And this is not luxurious. This is not representing the brand. And And there's one thing I've been teaching for the last 6 years, that is impulse, jump, go. So I thought, whatever, I have exactly two possibilities right now. One is, I'm gonna wait till the external surroundings are perfect, or I'm just gonna start because why not? So I've decided, here we are, let's start this journey because why not? And it reminded me of a very powerful message that in an external world which looks perfectly curated, right, where people are always having the perfect hair, the perfect makeup, the perfect pictures, everything's perfect, we sometimes forget the power of being raw, true. I don't even want to say authentic, just like raw and unfiltered. And sometimes I feel like in this basement wall right now, there's some beauty when it's like edgy, when we see, like in a home improvement, how it looks before and how it looks afterwards. So I thought this is gonna be such an amazing video of this is how it all started and this is how glamorous it became. So this first episode, I really decided as a video episode, like I want to have it raw and unfiltered, so we see the progress. And people would say, like, why would you do this? Like, by now, Jeanine, you've built a brand that made over 20 million in 6 years. I know, I could make it all perfect. But there's one thing I can't do, and money never will buy time back. And not just only the time I would have wasted for waiting, but I had this impulse right now to do it. So meaning energetically it's orchestrated that right now is the most perfect energy to do exactly what I've received. And money can never buy back this orchestration of the universe where everything is perfect right now because you received the impulse to do it. And the longer we wait and the more we overthink it, the more this perfect harmony dilutes. Things get chaotic. Things get harder. So when we miss impulses, things are just a little bit interesting in the beginning, and they get more and more and more interesting till it becomes very chaotic. The other impulse I wanted to share with you guys really is today that it's a contemplation I've been having, especially this last year, with mostly my one-on-one clients. And that was really that I stopped sharing more and more financial data. Like, look how much money I made. Look how made K in 30 days. This is and I was so loud, and I was sharing it all the first years. I was sharing how many clients we had, like literally testimonials, money, like all of it. And what happened was I received so many clients that just came into my world because they also wanted to make a lot of big money fast without actually seeing what it took. Like how amazing I am as a coach, that clients having real results, that we are creating real programs. It's not just pay me big money so I can be rich and whatever happens to you, I don't care. This is not how I set up my company, and this was never my intention. I've made my first million in the first 12 months, and all the millions afterwards, because I put my clients first. I wanted to create something outrageous. I wanted to help. This was always my vision, like a female power business school, where you kind of would go back to school and you actually learn how to build a business. Because as an investment banker who was focused on helping startups from idea to IPO to become listed on the public stock exchange, I really saw so many aspects about what it takes. And I realized ordinary people, like maybe they have an idea, but they have no business skills. Like they don't know anything about branding, growing companies, selling, online selling, marketing, the legal aspects, the tax aspects, so many things. But how to build a team, how to build an international team, how to literally grow a company. So many are just running their business as a hobby, kind of like a one-man, one-woman show. So I thought, if I'm founding the Female Power Business School, this can help so many ordinary business people that are not coming from the corporate world really to grow their business easily to $1 million and have a massive impact on the world. This is how I've set up my business. This is how I've created my first programs, and people joined the Female Power Business School. They had amazing results. Their business started growing, so they started talking about it. And this is an aspect many people forget. So I kind of didn't enjoy too much who I've attracted. And obviously I'm taking full responsibility because I was the one who was putting out the marketing, right? Manifestation, input equals output. So what I put out, I have to get back. And I stopped sharing. I stopped sharing about the money, about the clients, and I just did my thing. Why I started this business in the first place, because I wanted to coach and I wanted to help, and I have so much to give and I have insane knowledge. So what really happened in the last 2 years, the less I started sharing about my financial results, the less I've identified myself as a woman about the money I've made, and it became very quiet inside of me. Like I entered so many rooms and the rooms were very loud, as I'm like people saying, look at me, this is how much money I made. Oh my gosh, look at me, I'm a best-selling book author. Look at me, I am #1 podcaster. I'm like, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is all I've done. And I'm so often sitting in those rooms, I'm like, it's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And I just want to share. I've done all of this. And so what? People, I'm like, wow, but you're so quiet. You're so quiet about it. And it's not that I have any issues like showing you anything, talking about it. But the thing is, the more you have it, the more you have the money, the more it becomes normal to have the money, the more you are the money, the more you are rich, the less you have to talk about it. So that's why we see the wealthiest of the wealthiest people. I don't know, at least not in a marketing perspective, right? I never heard or see statements of Mark Zuckerberg, not that I'm like completely stalking and following him to give a clear advice, but I don't hear him saying like, oh my gosh, guys, look at me, I've built Matter and this is how much revenue we make, and I just want to say I'm the richest or one of the richest men of the world. Hello. It's like same with Joe Rogan, right? Having a #1 podcast worldwide. It's like you don't hear him identifying about like, oh guys, I'm Joe Rogan, just want to say #1 podcast of the world. Look at me. This is how many downloads we had in the last 10 days. Oh my gosh, this is how much money I made in the last 30Ks. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's beautiful to see, and I think it really opens up a perspective for ordinary people to understand what's possible in the business world. Like when we have our own business, when we build our own brand. And I think it's cool to see, because still many people, it seems like, what? You can make delusional amounts of money in such a short period of time with such a small audience. Like, don't don't see how. So I think there's a very powerful component to it. And just like the universal law of polarity states, right, we always have up and down, meaning there has to be a shadow side. And for me, the shadow side is that many coaches are just talking about how much money they're making in such short period of times. It's not about helping others anymore. It's not about building a business that helps others, that is in service to others. Rather, it's building a business that just prints money so I am rich and whatever afterwards. So with this first video episode of the Big Money podcast, I just want to remind you that raw and unfiltered still works. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's more important that you start today with what you have, where you are at. So if I wouldn't be having this vlog camera, I just would be using the camera of my iPad, and that's it. Use a microphone, and that's it. So many people build amazingly and powerful YouTube channels just with simple equipment. So don't overcomplicate it. You've got this. You're powerful. And instead of focusing on all the external things, making them perfect, I would rather want you to check in before. Where are you actually energetically? If I'm doing this YouTube video, if I'm doing this podcast, if I'm doing this Instagram, what is it that I want back? And for many of you, it's like, I want the likes, I want to be seen, I want to have the money, I want to have the sales. It's always this, I do this and I immediately want something in return. And energetically, that means we are actually not coming from a frequency that is giving, but we're coming from a frequency that is taking. We want to take somebody or the world's attention. We want to take their money. We want to take the likes. We want to take the followers. And there's nothing wrong with it. But remember, energetically, it's always input equals output, right? So if my input is like, I want to take, who do I have to attract? People that also want to take. And I see this a lot in the world, especially in the business world, like people giving so much free content, and then they just attract people that just consume the free content, but no sales. Energetically, it has to be, right? Because your input is just to take. You take attention, you take the love, because people told you have to provide value, you have to showcase. But contemplate energetically, what's the energy? And people always ask me, like, especially when we switched our brand from German speaking to English. And roughly, I have to think, November, December of 2024, we almost deleted our complete Instagram account. We've deleted over 90% of the people following us because they were not inactive anymore, coming from back in the day when I was providing content in German and not in English. So it was very interesting to let go. So now we're having an audience on Instagram of roughly a little bit over 1,000 people. However, my sales actually have skyrocketed, and people always ask me, how is it possible to have $500,000, $250,000, $750,000 a month with an audience of less than 2,000 followers right now on Instagram? And I can tell you exactly why, because energetically, I'm always giving and not taking with the content I provide. And I'm very clear about my energy. There is content I just feel like today I want to give. There's nothing I have to sell you. The energy is very crystal clear. And at the same time, I have posts in which I completely only sell my offer. Again, the energy is very clear. This is my offer. This is what I'm giving. And you can take it or not. And this really allowed me the shift being so crystal clear in my energy about when I'm actually giving, when am I taking, and especially contemplating how much I was taking. Like posting the testimonials, posting about the money. It was not coming from a place most of the time of, let me show you what's possible, but more like, oh my gosh, look at me, how successful I am. Look at me, look at me. It's like a form of love, a form of recognition, of admiration. And it's all cool. Because growing a business to multi-millions, it's a freaking journey. And trust me, the woman in you that makes 10K months, the first 50K, the first 100K months, the first million, the first 10 million, she is evolving so much. And it's one thing I've been saying since the beginning. This is the beauty and the beast about having a personal brand, about having an online business, because it grows with you. It grows with you, and it literally reveals all the dark secrets which are currently hidden somewhere in the basement. And in order to generate more income, in order to create a brand that is growing, guess what? All those little dark secrets which are currently somewhere in your basement you didn't want to check, guess what? You can have a look at them. And the more you are revealing the light from those dark things which are hidden in your basement, the more your business will grow. It is not so often the wild strategies or the wild ad campaigns. They're all supporting. Don't misunderstand me. I am pro all of them. However, they only can amplify your character. They only can amplify what's already there. And this is, I think, a very, very important part people are missing. That's why I deeply wanted to do this raw and unfiltered episode, to see it doesn't have to be perfect. Do a check-in. Where are you coming from? Is it from a giving or a taking place? What's your intention? And become very crystal clear. Am I giving today? Or am I taking? And when you are, realize for yourself, I'm actually taking attention, taking love, taking likes. Taking is not just about money. Energetically, where is it that you're taking? You're calling somebody because you want something from them, without even asking, hey, how are you? And caring about the answer. Can you see? It's very crystal clear. You're taking. The life is here that we are giving. Because when we give, guess what? We give, people want to give to us. We take, we attract people that take from us. It's universal laws. When we combine them in a business world, it's so easy. It's so crystal clear why we are having the results we are having and why not. I love you. Can't wait to hear your feedback in the comments. I'm so happy you found this video. I'm so happy you found this podcast. We are having new podcast episodes coming out every single Tuesday. And if you haven't, make sure you go back and listen to all the other episodes. In the Rich and Happy World, we always talk about business strategy, money, energetics, spiritual laws, a lot about love, opening our hearts. What does it actually mean? Why are the hearts closed? Why are we sometimes manifesting fast, other times slower? Like, where's this all coming from? It's a really, really powerful community. And I'm so glad you're here. I talk to you soon. Mwah.